You know, at times like these, you only need two things: a reason to live and a desire to live. Always have to have your orange juice ready. You never know when you might have a bottle of gin lying around. You know, you might be wondering why I bought gin with orange juice. I honestly don't know, because it had been so long since I had drank alcohol that I forgot that you need to buy tonic for gin, and I mistook it for vodka. I didn't mistake the gin for vodka, I just thought gin, you take orange juice for it, but that was vodka. Anyway, hi, my name is Flame, and I was asked by my partner in crime, Alice Chung, to create a video for our conjoined YouTube channel. I have been asked 10 questions by Alice Chung, which I will now try and answer for your viewing pleasure. Disclaimer, all of these questions are meant to be sensational. And I have recorded this already once. I know what the questions are, and I'm gonna disappoint you right now. Very few answers is actually gonna be sensational, but I'll give it a try nonetheless. Let's get this party started. This isn't as bad as I remember it being. Does Flame secretly hate everyone? I actually think of myself as a philanthrope in every possible dimension except financial. I do think human beings are possible of a lot of things, and it's not feasible to think of yourself as living outside of other human beings. So if you're not thinking of yourself as a fellow participant of humanity, then you are not thinking of yourself as a human being. I would label myself as philanthrope because I think everyone has potential, be it tapped or untapped, which can lead us to do great things as individuals and as collectives, but mainly as collectives. Bottom line is, Flame doesn't hate everyone. Flame is a philanthrope, but Flame can get irritated and angered by people, and it can really come across like he hates them, but he's usually just annoyed and angered, but not filled with hatred. Question number 2, is Flame single? Yes. Question number 3, is there anything in which Flame isn't good at? Okay, so yeah. Well, yes, next question. I am not good at a lot of practical life stuff. In fact, before moving away to live on my own for university, my mother would always tell me, oh, you're so bad at this, you won't ever survive on your own, you can't put your clothes away, you can't do your laundry, you don't know what it's like to clean. And she was only partly right. I can take care of my dwelling, it's fine. Of course, you don't see the trash on my desk right now, but it's fine. But at the same time, it's really not the best. And I could be a lot better about cooking for myself and eating, going out, getting exercise, things like that. I could be better at maintaining my hobbies, writing more, reading more, doing things like that. And I'm just a normal human being, and this question glorifies me as if I am perfect, but plot twist, I amn't. Question number 4. How many languages can Flame speak? I've been asked this question quite often, and I think every time it's asked, the problem is it's not clear what it means to speak a language. For me, speaking a language means you're able to handle pretty much any social situation with that language. So you would be fairly competent in speaking that language regardless of the situation, or mostly regardless of the situation. With that definition, I would say I can speak 4 languages, which are Bulgarian, English, Spanish, and French. Everything else is what I would consider no or less than conversational level. I am trying to learn German, I am trying to learn Japanese, but to be honest, I was trying harder 3 months ago before New Year's when I was in America, and now I'm trying less hard. I can get by kind of with Portuguese and Italian because I know Spanish and because I studied Portuguese and Italian in a course, but I'm definitely more comfortable with Spanish and French than with Portuguese and Italian. I also think Spanish is the easiest language from my perspective as a native Bulgarian speaker, because every other Romance language seems like it's making things unnecessarily complicated. Anyway, that's obviously just a perspective. What does Flame do in his free time? I bet he studies all the time. He wishes. Flame is occasionally drinking gin with orange juice, occasionally drinking chamomile tea with some lemon juice, and keeping hydrated. But I like playing video games a lot. Right now I'm playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm enjoying it, and usually when I was growing up as a teenager in high school, my go-to hobby would be video games, and I've played a lot of video games. And I still think I play quite a bit more than a quote-unquote responsible adult should be, but that's just a fact of life. And it'll probably change, but whenever I have university, I don't have as much time to play video games, so I fall behind on that, and when I come back, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And then it's not enjoyable to play games, but then after a little bit of time I get into it, and then I can't go back to academic work. You know, life is just a vicious cycle of readapting to things again and again until you can't get used to anything again. Next question, what is Flame's proudest achievement? During my exchange semester at the University of Albany, I had a course on playwriting, and I actually finished a play. It's about 40 pages. It's a 3-man play, which would take about half an hour, I think. I would say I'm proud of it because it really feels like a substantial literary work, which I can put on a bibliography or something like that, and I can say, look, I wrote something which can be analyzed through different lenses. You can look at it through a gender and sexuality lens, you can look at it through a language ideology lens, you can look at it through nationalistic lens, through an absurdist lens, so it really has a lot of perspective into it. And the next step would be to get it published or to get it on stage. But I think it's one step at a time at this point, especially with the invisible thing going around. Isn't that super weird? Next question. Does Flame hate me? Me equals random/anyone, not me as in Alice. So, as mentioned in the first question, I am a philanthrope, and I sincerely don't think I can hate someone at my core, but as I always so touched upon, I can get angry and annoyed with people, and that's not rare to happen. And if that happens, I usually get annoyed at myself for getting annoyed at other people, which is a vicious circle on its own. But otherwise, I don't think you should be worried about it because it's usually a me problem, not a you problem. Question number 8, can you give us a room tour? No. Question number 9, is Flame arrogant? I really tried to be humble and come across as open as possible to other people's ideas, and this again ties back to the first thing I said, that I am a philanthrope, and I do think that everyone has something to contribute. I do know that there have been situations in which I come across as either mean or arrogant, and I don't want to be any of those things, and I don't think I am any of those things. But I wouldn't be able to blame someone for saying they've thought I'm arrogant. But that's really not what I'm trying to achieve. When I stayed in New York City over Thanksgiving last year, and this guy who was from Boston, I don't remember his name at all at this point, but he was with his girlfriend, and when we talked a little bit, he said, has anyone ever told you about how you speak? And I'm like, yes, I know, I use big words sometimes, and it sounds very intellectual and fancy because most of my words are like 3 or 4 syllables, and I don't choose these words on purpose to come across a certain way. It's how I am programmed to think. Sometimes it's easier to remember a more elevated word. See what I did there? I just did it again. It's easier to remember an elevated word or a more complicated word rather than something simpler. And it's not that I don't think I've trained myself like that on purpose. It's just how my speech works. Like, my parents make fun of me for this because I also do it in Bulgarian when I speak to them, and they're like, what the fuck? So I know I can give off that impression, and I wouldn't blame anybody for it, but I'm trying to be more approachable and down to earth. Thank you for listening to the struggles of a middle-class white boy at a university who went to Harvard to visit at least once. Question number 10. Is Flame going to leave Luxembourg forever after English studies? This is a question I don't have an answer for because I myself don't know. I am a 21-year-old, barely legal in America now. Have an idea what I want to do for my master's, and I've already applied for the places I want to go, but I don't know if I'll be happy with that. I don't know what my current colleagues are going to be doing in the future. I don't know what friendships and relationships I'll be building in the upcoming year when I do my master's outside of Luxembourg. So I don't know if I want to go back to Luxembourg after English studies. It's very likely I'll do so at the very least for seeing friends again, or for nostalgia's sake, or if I learn German. The only 3 possible cases. Well, that was 10 questions from Alice Chung as to Flaying, who's enjoying a nice discount mimosa and some chamomile lemon tea. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe during the quarantine, and I hope you consider subscribing to our channel. There was a bonus 11th question, which Alice came up with because honestly some of the questions were really short on my part. So I'm just going to throw it in. The question is Flame left leaning? Oh. Imported indeed. You can't see this probably, but the bottom half of the orange juice is pure ice. Look, ice. This was in the fridge. I think we have a problem with the fridge. Anyway, that'll fix itself.